The league is officially trying to bury the loudest voice in women's sports, and they are using a legal muzzle to do it. If you look at the footage from last Tuesday's tunnel walk in Indianapolis, you can see the exact moment the energy shifted. Caitlin Clark didn't just look focused, she looked restricted. While her Fever teammates were interacting with fans and the media, Caitlin walked straight to the locker room with a stone-faced expression that we haven't seen since her final NCAA loss. This wasn't just game day focus. This was the visual confirmation of what insiders are calling the WNBA GAG rule of 2026. Within 6 hours of that game, a cryptic Instagram story featuring a black screen and a single locked emoji appeared on her secondary account, only to be scrubbed less than 3 minutes later. We caught the screenshot before the PR teams could blink. This is the smoking gun that proves the league is no longer just managing Caitlin Clark, they are silencing her. The timing is almost too perfect as the league approaches the most volatile period in its 30-year history. We are seeing a strategic dismantling of a superstar's agency right when the players need her voice the most. The WNBA is currently standing at a terrifying crossroads, and the timing of this silence is not a coincidence. We are weeks away from a potential 2026 CBA strike that could shut down the entire season, and the league is terrified of what happens if their biggest asset starts speaking the truth about the revenue split. The league is trying to keep this timeline quiet, but we are tracking every deleted post and every whispered quote from the locker room. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications right now so you get the evidence before it is scrubbed from the internet. You need to be part of this investigation because the traditional media is too scared to report on what is actually happening behind the scenes of the 2026 season. We aren't just fans, we are digital detectives tracking the movements that the league office wants to remain invisible. The spark that lit this fire wasn't a play on the court, but a contract signed in a boardroom. When Nike officially launched the CC1 signature line in early 2026 with that massive $28 million valuation, the power dynamic of the WNBA broke. For decades, the league has operated under a model where the brand of the WNBA comes first and the players come second. But Caitlin Clark is now a sovereign state. On a recent episode of the Show Me Something podcast, Sophie Cunningham revealed that the locker room vibes shifted the second the Nike numbers went public. There is a divide growing between the players who are fighting for a basic $500,000 minimum salary in the new CBA and a superstar who just secured a generational bag before her third season even tipped off. The veterans are looking at their $200,000 max salaries and comparing them to a rookie shoe deal, and the resentment is palpable. To understand why the league is moving so aggressively to silence her, we have to go back to the origin of the friction. This isn't a new beef, it is an evolution of the war that started back in the 2023 and 2024 NCAA tournaments. Think back to the 2023 title game when Angel Reese pointed at her ring finger and gave Caitlin the "you can't see me" gesture. That wasn't just a moment of trash talk, it was the first shot fired in a cultural war that has now migrated to the professional level. In 2025, we saw the old guard like Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner making blunt comments about reality coming for the rookies. Diana told Scott Van Pelt that these girls were coming for a grown woman league and it wouldn't be easy. But by 2026, the reality that arrived wasn't the one Diana predicted. It wasn't the rookies who had to adjust, it was the veterans who had to adjust to the fact that the rookies were making 10 times their career earnings in 6 months. During the recent Team USA camp in Durham, the body language was deafening. While Paige Buchers and Angel Reese were seen laughing during shooting drills, Caitlin was often standing off to the side, speaking only to her personal trainer. If you watch the high-speed scrub of the practice footage, you can see a moment where a veteran player walks past Caitlin and doesn't even make eye contact, while Caitlin is literally holding a basketball, waiting for a pass that never comes. This is the Cold War of the WNBA. The veterans feel that the new wave hasn't paid their dues, but the new wave knows they are the reason the league finally has charter flights. It's a classic case of the pioneers versus the settlers, and the pioneers are holding a grudge that is spilling over into the 2026 labor negotiations. On her podcast, Unapologetically Angel, she admitted that the league has become a business of optics, where certain players are told what they can and cannot say about the ongoing labor dispute. The 2026 GAG rules specifically targets players with external signature deals, preventing them from using their personal platforms to discuss league-wide financial negotiations. The league claims this is to protect the collective bargaining process, but the reality is that they are terrified of Caitlin Clark telling her 20 million followers that the WNBA is lowballing the players on the 30% gross revenue split. Currently, the WNBPA is demanding 30% of the total incoming money, but the league is countering with a convoluted 70% of net revenue model. Any business major knows that 70% of net can be manipulated down to zero through creative accounting. If Caitlin Clark explained that to her fan base, the public pressure on Commissioner Kathy Engelbert would be insurmountable. So the solution was simple: muzzle the star. Look at the evidence from the unrivaled 3x3 league draft. When the rosters were announced for the 2026 season in Miami, fans noticed a glaring absence. While Paige Bueckers, Cameron Brink, and even newer stars like Dominique Malonga have used the 3x3 platform to build their own narrative, Caitlin has remained suspiciously quiet. Sources close to the Fever organization suggest that the WNBA front office pressured her to stay away from the unrivaled league to ensure she didn't have a platform outside of their direct control. They want her in a box that they own, especially during the winter months when the CBA talks are most intense. The league knows that if Caitlin is playing unrivaled, she is doing interviews every night. If she is doing interviews, she is answering questions about the strike. By keeping her home, they keep her silent. The physical play on the court has become a reflection of this internal policing. In the season opener against the Dallas Wings, Caitlin was hit with a hard screen that wasn't just a basketball play, it was a message sent from the locker room. If you slow down the tape, you can see the secondary defender nodding towards the bench after the hit. These are not isolated incidents, they are encoded messages. The veterans are playing a different game now. They aren't just trying to win, they are trying to remind the new wave that the league still belongs to the people who built it. But with the 2026 strike looming, the new wave holds all the leverage. If Caitlin walks, the WNBA revenue model collapses. On the podcast Post Moves with Candace Parker, there was a very telling segment where Candace discussed the concept of player legacies. She noted that while individual success is great, the league has to survive the individual. That is high-level executive speak for we cannot let one player become bigger than the institution. The WNBA is attempting to pull off an impossible balancing act. They want Caitlin's ticket sales, but they don't want Caitlin's power. They want the CC1 shoes in every stadium, but they don't want her at the podium talking about the $10 million salary cap demands. This is why the GAG rule was drafted in secret during the 2025 offseason and implemented under the guise of uniform and media policy updates for 2026. The digital forensics show a pattern of suppression that is undeniable. Over the last 30 days, Caitlin's engagement on official WNBA posts has plummeted, while her personal Nike-branded content is reaching record highs. There is a literal wall being built between the player and the league. When you analyze the transcript from the commissioner's recent press conference, she avoided mentioning Caitlin by name 4 different times when asked about the league's growth, using the phrase "our collective rookie classes." This is a coordinated effort to decenter the star and reassert control. They are trying to prove that the league is the star, not the girl from Iowa. But let's look at the financial stakes, because that's where the real drama lies. The 2026 CBA is about more than just salaries. It's about the future of the WNBA as a top-tier global sports league. The players want a system where they aren't forced to play in Turkey or Italy during the offseason. They want the unrivaled league and the WNBA to coexist peacefully, but the WNBA sees unrivaled as a threat to their year-round control. Caitlin Clark is the bridge between these worlds. If she supports unrivaled, the WNBA loses its off-season monopoly. If she supports the 30% gross revenue demand, the owners lose hundreds of millions of dollars. The muzzle isn't about protecting the game, it's about protecting the margins. The rivalry between Caitlin and Angel Reese has also taken a darker turn in 2026. While the media loves the competition, the behind-the-scenes reality is that the league is using their rivalry to distract from the labor issues. As long as fans are arguing about who is the real Rookie of the Year or who had a better double-double, they aren't talking about the fact that the league still doesn't offer full health benefits for retired players or that the pension fund is a fraction of the NBA's. The league is weaponizing the drama to keep the focus
focus off the ledger. As we move closer to the May 8th tip-off, the tension is at a breaking point. The league thinks they can control the narrative by limiting press access and enforcing the GAG rule, but the fans see through the PR spin. We are predicting that Caitlin Clark will break her silence during the 2026 All-Star Weekend in Chicago. She is waiting for the biggest stage to reclaim her voice, and when she does, the entire structure of the WNBA will change forever. The league tried to protect itself by silencing its biggest star, but all they did was create a countdown to an explosion. Every time a player like Nneka Ogwumike speaks out about the $1 million max salary, she is signaling to Caitlin that the time is coming. The veterans may resent her money, but they need her leverage. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about who owns the future of the game.
If you want to see the next chapter of this investigation, check out our deep dive on the Angel Reese and Paige Bueckers alliance that is currently threatening the old guard's power in the locker room. We have the footage of their private meeting in Vegas and the receipts from the group chat that leaked last week. The WNBA is trying to play chess, but the players are ready to flip the board. The receipts are all there, and the truth is coming out, whether the league likes it or not. Stay tuned because the 2026 season is about to become the most expensive soap opera in sports history, and we have a front row seat to the fallout.